Everybody. Welcome. My name is Juan Vitas. I'm the founder of Winning on Wednesday. Winning on Wednesday is a platform that meets every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And the purpose there we're there for is to simply get to know each other. I always say people do business who they know, like, and trust. And we're also a network platform that we are there to make friends, as I mentioned, and also promote your brand and more importantly, expand your network. And today I have the pleasure of introducing Diane Noto. Diane, how are you?
I'm great, Juan. How about you?
Very good, very good. So tell us a
Good.
little bit of what you do.
Okay. My company is Shop Financial, and I am a debt solution strategist. I work with an online web-based debt and money management system, and that shows clients how to pay off all of their debt, both business and personal. So mortgages, credit cards, student loans, car loans, line of credit, everything that has interest, and paid off in half the time, which literally saves them a ton of money in interest payments. And we customize an action plan that shows them how to make more strategic, timely, and specific payments. It's not one strategy, not based on only one thing and one way of doing things. It's intuitive, it's customizable, and all inclusive, looking at someone's income, debts, and expenses in real time.
Wow, excellent. That's great.
Mhm.
And now tell us about yourself. Tell us where you grew up. Where did it all begin?
Okay, I was born in Pennsylvania. My father was in the Marine Corps, and my family moved up and down the East Coast. But we also had the opportunity to live in Ireland, where he was in charge of the American Embassy for 2 years. And
Wow.
during that time, yeah, I mean, we even vacationed in England and Spain. And who does that, right? I mean, but
Yeah,
we took
yeah.
advantage of that time, which was awesome. And then when my dad retired, then after 28 years, I believe he made it a career. We settled back in Pennsylvania and lived there. Golly, I'm feeling old, but for 48 years I lived then, as a teenager into adulthood. And once I married, now my husband and I, just 1 year ago, moved down here to Delaware.
Oh, wow. And and
Yeah.
and what part of Pennsylvania did you grow up?
I grew up mainly in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, and then my husband and I moved to Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Hershey
yeah,
chocolate.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, I've taken my kids several times there, so they love it.
Right,
They love it. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And then I went to once I went to high school, or after high school, I should say, I went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and I earned my bachelor's degree in music education. And then
Mm.
I continued my education and earned my master's degree in the humanities, music, art, and literature. So yeah, I mean, so I taught music in the public and private schools in Pennsylvania for 35 years. That's a career, I
Did,
thought.
did you
And then turned my
did
focus to education with instead of with kids, from
it,
preschool through high school, we went into adults.
let's see. Is that what your ambition was when you were little to be a teacher or to go into education? Is that like so when you were seven? Because when we were all little, we had different ideas of what we wanted to be. I mean, I wanted to become veterinarian and or a doctor or
Right.
whatever. So I don't know. Did you have any inspiration? Like, is that what you were like your career tended to, or when you
Wish,
were
I
little?
mean, I know when I was little, I wanted to be a detective, but once I thought it was glamorous, it looked exciting and adventurous, which I love, but a little more dangerous than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mother did tell me though that when I was 7, the parades would go down the street, and all of a sudden she'd turn her head, and I'm marching down the street next to them, where she'd have to run after and grab me, and so lo and behold, so many years later, I become a music teacher, right? Teaching
Wow.
that. Yeah.
Wow, that's
So
great.
that was
So
probably somewhere in the books, right?
what are some of your hobbies? I'm assuming music has got to be some of your hobbies, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. As a musician, I can play multiple instruments and sing. And since it was my career for 35 years, I kind of didn't put everything away, even though I moved on to something completely different. But I enjoy still playing trumpet and flute for weddings, as well as I've been a soloist for weddings and funerals. And I actually have played clarinet and saxophone in the pit orchestras in high school musicals. So it's been exciting. It's nice to be able to carry that forward, instead of like parents say to me, "Oh, I wish they keep playing the piano," you know, when so
Wow.
many kids quit that, right?
So what was your first job when you got out of school, with your degree, when you graduated? What was your first real job?
My first real job, as a real person, right? I actually worked in I worked in a private school, and they had teaching music, and it was kindergarten through 8th grade. So we classroom music, choral program, band program. and we did musicals. Even at that level, it was a lot of fun. I love working with kids, I truly do.
Excellent. And what made you go on your own? From what you from teaching music to what you're doing now, what made you go through that whole journey? Can you tell us about that journey?
Yeah, it is funny. Now that I work with, financial services, back in 2010, while I was still teaching now, I began my own business focusing on website design. And did that for quite many years. But working for small to medium-sized businesses was my focus. And because there's been many studies pointing out a lot of parallels between music and web development. And I enjoyed it. I really did. But I found that I wasn't the techie I wanted to be or needed to be. But yeah, and so the interest savings system that I currently work with was then introduced to me in 2016. And then in 2017, my husband and I began working with the program, and I saw its capabilities and received training on how to use the software. And as a teacher, I looked into the possibility of showing others how to use the program to their benefit, starting part time. And then once I retired, just took over, with full time, because the system's user friendly and it's an easy to follow action plan, um, to help people become debt free in a lot less time than the bank's plan. And that's something we really liked, and it was working for us. Why can't it work for so many others who are in so much debt?
Wow. Yeah, especially now in today's economy, because right now with the inflation going up, people, prices are going up, everything, and people are living on their credit cards. I have some of my friends who are using their 401k. So it's a lot of
Mhm.
it's a lot of stress, financial stress and all that
Absolutely.
stuff. So yeah, thank you. And
Mhm.
at this point of the meeting, I like to call the golden moment time. If there's any valuable piece of information you would like to leave behind to help a person become a better business person or help their business, is there any information or examples you would like to share with us?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I guess it truly stems from just the education part of it itself. As a teacher, I always understood the benefits of learning, no matter what it is, so that a person can continue to grow and be able to pursue and attain their goals, for the future. Let me tell you a little bit about, I'm talking a little bit about in the beginning what I do. Let me tell you what it's not. And I think that's a big part of it as well. The system is not a refinance. It's not a debt consolidation. We don't negotiate with credit card companies. It's not debt snowball, debt avalanche. I don't restructure loans. They don't need to change banks. I mean, and that's a misconception. Many think that, oh, it's got to be this or it has to be that. No, absolutely not. It is based on bank algorithms. And I want to, as far as examples go, the program has financial foresight, which I absolutely love. Okay, so it shows cause and effect of your financial decisions, giving you a step-by-step action plan. So, for instance, let me explain. We have a client who was supposed to pay off all their debt. Okay, now we're looking at mortgage, we're looking at a vehicle, we're looking at several credit cards, and they were supposed to pay off in 6.8 years. Well, she needed a car, as we do. I mean, what do you do? Buy a scooter? It's not always easy to do that in many places. So we said, don't worry, put in an interest rate, a monthly payment, basic balance, whatever you think it might cost. See what the program thinks. And she did. She put it in there. And do you know, it didn't add 7 years, Juan. It added 7 months to her debt payoff.
Oh,
So yeah,
wow.
7 months. So then she backed it out and put in a more expensive car
There you
because
go.
it's her program. She can see before she actually makes that decision. And
Absolutely.
going along with what you mentioned too, come to think of it, when you said about people being in so much debt with using their credit cards, especially with what happened with COVID, and losing their jobs and things
Right.
like that. I have people that say every time I try to build an emergency fund, something happens. Well, life does if you own a home, and so forth. I have a family, but it uses these strategic banking strategies so to maximize your cash flow. So I have a client that, again, mortgage, they have a motorcycle, they have another vehicle, 4 or 5 credit cards, and another an auto loan. And anyway, they are scheduled to pay off everything in a little over 28 years. With our system, they're going to be paying off in 9.1 years. They're saving 130,000 in interest payments, and all they need is $25 a month to make that happen. So it
Wow.
doesn't take all your discretionary income. It's just amazing. So that extra money they could utilize to put away in an emergency fund or to
Wow.
pay on that extra debt and so forth. But the program shows you exactly what to pay, when to pay, and how much to pay. So I love
Thank
it.
you.
I
Thank you.
truly do.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, the other
Mhm.
thing is, you belong to any other networking groups or any organizations besides WOW or any other organizations that you, or spheres of influence?
Is there anything better? But yes, I do belong to what's called a Polka Dot Powerhouse, which is a networking group of women across the United States, Canada, and England. And I'm also in the process of, since I relocated and I now live in Delaware instead of Pennsylvania, I'm looking to join local chamber of commerce as well to get to know the community better and serve the community.
Yep, yep. So tell us a little bit about your the services that you offer right now, that you're what you're working on. Tell us about the company
Okay.
and everything. So tell us everything.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. Well, truly, someone, what can this do for me? How can you show me? Is this real? So, and I get those questions. So it's like, hey, I talk with people and take a look at what their debts are, and I always offer a complimentary personalized savings analysis so they can see how much time and interest the program can save them, and then they can decide whether they want to work with it or not. I mean, whether is the timing now, is the timing maybe for the future, but it's always complimentary. So someone can actually see what it is that the program can do for them. And they don't, they don't get a chance to know that until we actually get into the numbers, get into the nitty gritty. I'd love to work with real estate investors because they get a much quicker return on their investments. And that's obviously what they're looking to do. Many of them are 25, 50, 100, properties, but they certainly don't want to be paying on those mortgages every single month for long. They want to be able to get a profit, So this program actually helps them gain that, quicker return. I also look for to work with different professionals such as realtors, accountants, bookkeepers, insurance agents, and we offer a referral program for them so that they not only benefit, but also in a couple of ways they can work with their clients, offer it to their clients where I work with them, but that can bring ongoing referrals. I mean, if their clients are getting out of debt faster, that gives them more money in their pockets to maybe buy more insurance, invest in another property, buy and sell a home, whatever they need. So yeah, it's great to be able to, work that collaboration with those individuals.
And if people want to contact you, what's the best way to contact you?
Best way to contact me, I probably my website, I believe, would be it's shopfinancial.com/ Diane Noto. All my contact info is on there. I can be found on LinkedIn. Yeah, and then on WOW, I definitely have that QR code. So
That's right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Thank you for sharing your stories. And if you'd like to be a member of Winning on Wednesday, simply go to winningonwednesday.com and sign up as a first-time guest. And we hope to see you there. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
good. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Thank you.